So what's going on, guys? This is Brian Pickowicz here, and I want to make this video about a topic matter that's really become prevalent in my life as of recently, and it's coming through the way of a call I had with a client last week about how to stand up for yourself when you have anxiety. And so the whole point of this video is to give you a foundation for yourself, and if someone else you know is struggling with anxiety, something that can help them through that feeling, that darkness, and really make a difference in their lives. And so the reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel like it was a tremendous breakthrough for this person, and it's something that I know for me has made a big difference in my life. So for me, you know, I'm a fitness and lifestyle coach, and I've worked with over 400 clients in the last 3 years. And the biggest thing that I do is, as a life coach, I focus on getting people to get results in fitness. And the biggest thing that's a real barrier for a lot of them is believing in themselves and getting through a lot of the mental barriers that are holding them back. And so obviously everyone's on a different playing field when it comes to what they're dealing and what they're going with. But I've learned that a lot of the things that people are experiencing comes down to how they feel about themselves, and breaking down negative habits that make them feel anxious or make them feel inadequate or really make them question whether they deserve to have the transformation that they're seeking. And so the call I had this week had something to do with a client who was really struggling with perfection. They made a perfect structure, and if that structure was in place and they could follow through with it, then they had no issues and they were able to maximize their progress each and every day. But what happens is when one of those pillars fall, the alarm clock doesn't go off, can't stay on the diet for the perfect amount of time with the perfect focus, and then wasn't able to train because life happened, a lot of other things start to fall apart and a lot of other things start to creep in, and this person becomes really anxious. And it's something I feel like a lot of people start to feel like. It's like if they can't have everything, then they're not going to have what they want in the end, so they might as well not even try. And it just is this big circular thinking process that brings you back to the same spot or worse than when you started. And so as we were talking, the biggest thing that I expressed to this person was, how can you make this better? What are you experiencing? And it was almost like when they feel anxious, it's like they're being pulled apart. It's like they're starting to think about everything that could happen in the future, because that's what anxiety is. Anxiety is fear of what the future is going to hold, fear of what you're not going to be, fear of all those things that are going to happen from right now. You're not present. And so as we were talking, I kind of expressed a story from my life, how I used to deal with anxiety. And for me, it was like anxiety was a full room of people that were just talking all the time. And when I started to feel anxious, it was like these different people were having all these conversations about what was going to happen or everything that's going to go wrong. And then there was me in the middle of that room. There was the real me. There was the person that I truly am, and it's my being that knows what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. And for the beginning of my life, when I started to have anxiety, which I think that it's something that I've really learned how to cultivate skills towards, and something that I've learned how to disrupt and get rid of in my life. And when those habits start to peak up, I know how to deal with them now. And that's the biggest thing I give to my clients, is those tangible skills. But when I first started experiencing it about 3 to 4 years ago, I didn't have those same skills. I didn't know what it meant to feel anxious. I'd never had a panic attack before. And the way I described it is that person who could actually stand up against the people in the room was a very weak person. They were small, they didn't have a strong voice. And so when you're feeling anxious, there's all these things going on inside you, and then there's you, and you kind of end up talking like this, like, hey, can we be quiet, guys? Like, I really don't want to feel this way. Can we please stop? And hey, like, I'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't do that. And because you don't have the strength within you yet, you end up feeling anxious the rest of the day. And so what you have to do is you have to build that person up. You have to create mental strength. And the only way to do that is to hammer on the things that you know are going to make you stronger. And so there's a few different skills that I've cultivated in my life that I think make a big difference. The first thing is presentness exercises. So this can come through gratitude expressions every morning. It can come through writing lists and goals that you are attacking every day that are very specific tasks that you know you're going to accomplish or want to accomplish for your ideal day. It can come down to making a schedule, or the biggest thing on my list of things that I have to do is my morning routine. Every morning I wake up, I make my bed, I brush my teeth, I get ready for the day, I put on clothes that make me feel productive, and then I sit down, I write my goals, and I meditate. That is my day, and that is my foundation. And even when I don't have time, even if I don't have 15 minutes to allot to my morning, which really you have to schedule. So if you don't have time, it's not because you don't have time, it's because you don't care enough. You don't believe that it's going to make a difference. But if you can start to will yourself into a position where you actually believe that you're going to start working on yourself, then you will make that change. But for me, good example is I woke up late the other day, I wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't sleep. I've been having a hard time sleeping in the last few weeks, just been so busy, and I can never shut my mind off. I don't know if you guys deal with that, but I'm always thinking at night what I could be doing, and so I couldn't sleep well that night. And so I wake up, and it's about an hour and a half past the time I usually would wake up, and I had all these emails, and I made the mistake of checking my phone before I did this, and I started to feel really anxious, and I was like, I don't have the time to allot to my typical routine, I don't have the time to take it slow, I have to really start getting into this. What can I do right now to change myself? What can I do to change the way that I'm feeling? And the biggest thing I did was just sit down and say, I'm gonna take a minute and focus on what I want to do today. What are my tasks? And how is that going to make me feel? How can I change this energy? And so I'm not coming to you as a guru. I'm not coming to you as a therapist, and I'm not trying to tell you that you have to will yourself into a beautiful place where everything's perfect, because that's quite frankly not true. But what I am saying to you is, if you can start to cultivate that strength within your core and your being, that can stand up for yourself and really get aligned with what your truth is. So you know when you're telling yourself the truth, and you know when you're telling yourself things that are going to make you stronger. And if you can align yourself with that part of you that's going to be able to stand up and make yourself better, you'll be able to eventually enter that room of 1,000 voices and say, hey, we're getting to work. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And so it's not about being perfect, and it's not about looking at it as you have to be there right now. It's about building yourself up and getting stronger. You have to make yourself stronger, and the only way you get stronger is to face the actual things that you're holding you back and push against those parts of you. And if you can push past those things, I can guarantee that it will get a lot easier each and every time you start to feel that way. So the point that I want to make, wrap it all up, is start to be mentally stronger with tasks and practices that make a difference in your life, and you'll start to see how that can shift a lot of things for you. So give this video a thumbs up. My name is Brian Pickowicz. I'm a fitness and lifestyle coach, but above all else, I just want to share this video with you, and hopefully it makes a difference in your lives or someone you know. So if you did find this video of value, please share it with a loved one. I know that anxiety is not something that most people really want to talk about. I know it's not something that we really discuss too much, because it's just something you're supposed to deal with, but you're not supposed to feel that way. You don't have to feel that way. It's not something you have to deal with, and there's ways to get around it. But I hope this video helps you out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to, and keep pushing forward to become better every day and be a light to inspire others. I'll see you guys.